your social media.
Yeah, I'm going live on YouTube. So yeah, I need more conversation because I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about here.
Mute everyone.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are chiming in from. Excited to be with you here this Friday, first Friday of the month of February. We are now into month 2. So first off, as we talk about, we just want to kind of, reboot from a standpoint of where we are on our personal goals, what we want to accomplish this year, just keeping that in front of ourselves and, renewing that, reviewing that, internalizing that, keeping it top of mind, so your subconscious can go to work and manifest, the life you want, the goals that you have. And so just as another quick reminder, I think we constantly need to be reminded that we have to keep that stuff at the forefront. Don't let a couple bad days, don't let a bad week, lead you to abandon it, right? Just, you know what, we all have bad days, we all have bad weeks, we have distractions and hurdles and obstacles and life going on all the time. And so it's just important that we stay conscious about it and keep it in front of us even if we have that bad day. So no better time to restart than today. If you happen to get off track, let's restart today, let's recommit today. So with that, today our mastermind topic is again primarily focused on influence, right? That was kind of the topic I thought about, is the power of influence. How do you build influence? What is influence, right? How do you have influence over other people? How what does that really mean? So that's kind of the core of our topic here today. I think it's a very powerful topic, but as always, we can go any direction that you want, depending on how this kind of unfolds. I was talking with Raphael earlier. She was talking about influence and bringing that into branding and some ideas that she might want to share here, in our fireside chat today about branding and really what branding can do to contribute to influence. So with that, let's just talk a little bit about some of the core meanings and fundamentals of influence. So influence is I think the ability to get people to pay attention, get people to do something, inspire people. You have the ability to empower people, right? Through your actions, through your attitude, through your message, through who you are, and the credibility that you may have with that person, or a credibility that they may not, that you've acquired through your own success, through your actions, through who you have become as a person. And so, but influence is very, very powerful. But I also believe behind the word influence is belief, right? You really need to, because belief is very important to have influence over other people. I talk about it all the time in our business, right? People by people, passion, posture, belief, influence on others, but kind of behind that is the belief that you have about something, because belief is influence. I talked about every time you communicate with someone, right, and you want them to do something, or you want them to buy something, or you're looking for them to take action on something, every time you communicate with somebody, you're either buying or you're selling, right? You're either buying someone's story, buying someone's excuse, buying someone's reason of why something won't work, or you're selling your belief, your concept, your product, whatever it is that you have. And whoever has the greatest level of belief is going to have influence over the other person. Okay, so for an example, especially in our industry, in our business, we can go and we can, prospect people, and we may find someone who's in the industry just like us, but with another company. right? And so when you buy into this, I'll look at yours, if you look at mine, you've completely have no influence, right? You've matter of fact, what you've done is you've showed them weakness, that you're actually open to look at something else. Where if you want to have influence over them, you take the posture. Posture is, I think, another point behind influence. Listen, I have no interest, in what it is that you're doing, in the company that you're with. I know everything I need to know about them, but you do need to look at what I'm doing, right? So it's that confidence. Confidence, is also a contributing character, or contributing factor behind influence. So your belief, your confidence, your phone, your posturing, all these things are going to contribute to the influence that you may have over someone else. Who you are as a person, and even your social media, right? I mean, you can build influence through social media, but you can also lose influence very quickly, by doing something, saying something, lying, doing things of that nature can lose influence with people. So this power of influence is very, very strong when you have influence. And again, people build influence over time. You can't really have influence immediately, right? You have to, people have to trust you. They have to believe in you. They have to see what you stand for, what you may stand against. So I think that influence does tie into branding, but it definitely ties into your ability to move other people, the ability to get other people to see your vision, other people to want to do what you're doing, other people to want to follow you, right? So how do you build that influence? You build that influence by doing the right thing. You build that influence by understanding, everything you do matters. People are watching, and you're either going to gain credibility or lose credibility based on your actions, based on what you do. Telling people what you're committing to, telling people what you're going to do, and then not doing it, you lose influence, you lose credibility. So I think credibility also, plays into that word of influence. So I want to, really I love the interaction of these fireside chats. And so, I just wanted to kind of open up with my thought around influence, the power of influence. But if you want to build a sales organization, if you want to build a network marketing company, if you really want to be successful in anything in life, I think influence is the ability to influence other people, to move other people, to get other people to see your vision, right? To get other people to see something that they may not have been able to see on their own, how their life might be able to be improved through, getting involved with you. So all that stuff I think is important. So with that, let's just take a pause, and I'll just open it up to others. And if you want to contribute, give me your thoughts, give me, what you believe influence is, how you build influence, or even, whatever, again, this is completely open. We can even go another direction if we want. So let me take and pause for a moment, and somebody wants to jump off mute and share their thoughts.
Hey, John. Hey, John.
Yes, hey.
Greg here. How you doing,
Hey,
man?
Greg. I'm doing fantastic.
Good. I think just a quick one, just to chime in here. Maybe you can build off of this and elaborate. But longevity builds credibility. Credibility builds that influence. So for the first, when I got involved in the industry years ago, the first several months were probably the hardest for me because nobody knew me as a network marketer. Nobody knew me as a business guy. So I had to build that, and it took time. But the longevity builds the credibility. And I think when we get involved and we're new, sometimes we have, our circle of influence. They look at us like, let's see how long they're going to stick this thing out. They don't want to be people don't want to be a part of somebody's just, trying something or just winging it to see if this thing works, throw some stuff against the wall and, see if this thing works. So I think for me, the biggest factor of my success has been, staying consistent, keeping that even keel, the emotional roller coaster. I mean, all the things play a factor here, but the longevity of what we do and the consistency and our message being the same, and the fact that we're sticking with one company, you're sticking with the same message, and you're being consistent. That builds credibility more than anything, I believe. So that's my 2 cents, John.
Yeah, wow, Greg, that's fantastic. And I mean, that is so incredibly powerful and so incredibly true. What you just talked about, longevity, right? I mean, you think about that. When the, every time you talk to somebody, they're pitching a new program, something new that they're involved in, they don't have any influence or credibility with you anymore, right? They may have energy, they may have some passion about something, but everything exactly what you just described. Let me see how long you last, right? Let me see if you're still doing this next week or next month or next year. So that's a really, really powerful word, Greg, that I think just plays perfectly into our topic here of influence is longevity. Staying with something, staying and long-term success in something, right? Long-term success in something. And of course, what you had also tied into that was the consistency, right? Consistency of something builds influence. Fantastic. Thank you. Who else wants to jump in here?
Hi, John. Here I am.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So influence is something that everybody has. You build yourself up all your life of who you are, right? So when I came into this company, I thought I needed to rebuild my influence into a business side of it, but I really already had built my own influence. I've been in the cannabis industry for 20 years and everybody knows that about me. And this year, I'm in my paint gear, you guys. So right now I'm rocking my kindness influence, so I have built a kindness rock group. And this year marks 5 years that I've been doing that. So everybody knows my knowledge with cannabis. Everybody knows me for my painted rocks and my kindness and my painting, even though I don't know how to paint, you guys. I just found a rock one day and I just started it. It starts with involvement, even if you don't know what you're doing. So I've already been doing, things with Valentis in the influence way. And I realized that I was influencing people in the wrong way when I tried to do it in a business way. And so I've tried to revert back to what I know about myself and what people know about me and try to go with that flow of influence rather than trying to teach them a new influence about me. Building it and being consistent will take me there in the long run. And then I can work the business side of it a little bit more on the influence side for branding wise. But I've already branded myself with my kindness and my cannabis work from my past. So I'm just trying to bring that back into reality and put myself back into a reality check on what I want to present myself as and the influence that I give. So, I love coffee, you guys. I love it so much. So, I've created a kindness group and I've influenced over 1,000 members just by not even doing anything. I'm not asking anybody to come. I do offer things to my group more than just business and spending money. You got to offer more than business. You got to offer yourself and bring yourself to your business and your influence, and that's what I do. And I'm just having a ball. I changed my ways a little bit and I'm getting more people reaching out to me because I'm being more of myself and people know me now because I'm not trying to pretend I'm being somebody else, even though they know that I'm trying, they know that I'll get there. But again, that builds, I got to build my way to that respect that everybody else has me on the cannabis side and the rock side. Now they're seeing me as a Valentis worker, and now they're starting to respect my influence on when I talk about that. So, start out with something and go with that. And then the conversation will naturally go into Valentis on its own. So that's what I got.
Fantastic, Robin. And incidentally, I think I've already thanked you before. I think I probably sent you a message, but you sent me one of your beautifully blue painted rocks. I got this package that was like, what is in this? Feels so heavy. And then it was a rock. You're beautiful. So thank you for that. But you said some really important things here, right? Number one, when you're an expert, you talked about being an expert in you've built yourself up to be an expert in the cannabis industry. So you have influence over people interested in that, right? They want to hear from you. You can build influence, through, like you said, you've created a new group, so you can build influence. So you can build influence by providing value. You can build influence from being yourself, being your real self. Find your audience. find your tribe, so to speak, right? But I also, when you were talking, made me think about something else from an influence standpoint, is other people's influence over us. Okay. And and what the story that popped into my head is out of the book, the Traveler's Gift. And one of the stories in there was about this, let's just call it a who said of the greatest magnitude, so to speak. Someone with influence asked this guy by the name of David Ponder if he had, kids. And he says, yes, I've got a young girl, Jenny, and asked her age, I think she was like 14 or something. And he went on to say, do you ever worry about, who your kid is hanging out with, who your child's hanging out with? And says, oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if she gets with the wrong group, she is so difficult to deal with. And so, who they hang out with then, has influence, over your kid. Yeah. Because when she hangs out with the right group, we immediately see it in her attitude and who she is as a person. So who we hang out with, has influence. So, one of the things they say about the top 5 people that you hang out with most is whatever their net worth is, that you will be, similar to that, right? You hang around with people that have influence. But he went on to say, at what age, right? At what age do people stop having influence over you, right? So, I mean, at this child at 15, I mean, is it 18? Is it 25? And the fact is people always have, the people you hang around with will always have influence. He even went on to say, if you hang around with liars, you'll find yourself lying. If you hang around with, people that are, people swearing a lot, pretty soon you find yourself swearing, right? So who you hang around with has influence over you. So I think this is, I thought about this as you're talking. This is a very, very important aspect of influence, not just the influence we have on others, but the influence others have on us. And we have to be careful about who we're letting have influence over us. Is it making us the person we want to be, or are we becoming the person we don't want to be because we're hanging around with the wrong people? That we need to break that tie, break that relationship to really find our true self and find out who we are. So just anybody want to? Rachel, you were about to say something just before Robin, so maybe you can jump on and share your thoughts.
Yes, hi John. Happy Friday, everyone. So I was thinking about influence and branding. There's a lot of things that comes into mind. I've been in the business over 6 years and experienced success right away. And I understand what Greg was saying, that it takes time to build influence, right? If you come in and you don't show any success yet, people will judge us. But after being in the business and you experience the success, we cannot assume that people will believe in us either. But one thing I've learned is to stay the basic, the things that you started early on in your career. For example, this morning by a brand to just like, they sent me a message, hey Rap, I've seen that you have a huge follower. Do you mind if I send you our products and you promote it in social media? And I was thinking about it. I was driving and I even shared it with John. It's like, oh my God, this applies to everyone in our business with Valentas. Like if you say, oh, I don't know anybody, I run out of all my hot leads. So then I've been in the business and I don't know who to talk to. So, I mean, whether we like it or not, we have to get out of our comfort zone, which means touching our cold market, people we don't know, strangers. If you think you don't have a brand yet, you go on social media, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. There's always people there that successfully build their brand. They have a huge follower. It doesn't hurt to ask them, like, hey, like, introduce yourself, say something, connect, and be real. Hey, I've seen that you have a huge follower. If I send you a product, would you mind sharing it on your social media? And that's one lesson that I've learned. I mean, like, education never ends. We always learn something every day, and asking someone for help, especially for me, I mean, like, it teaches us a lesson as well to be humble and And it's because you experience success, you don't need other people anymore. I mean, like, everyone has their own kinds of influence, right? And we brand ourselves differently. But asking other people products to promote our products, and they don't have to be doing the business because they are not there yet. They don't totally understand. They're so scared in so many ways. But giving them, don't have their shields up there yet. They just like, you're just asking them to try the products and promote. It doesn't hurt them at all. So I think that's one thing that I've learned today. I mean, ask people. It really brings back to being humble. To be, that we want to be humble by asking people, right? And I mean, it's like, oh my God, I mean, I'm so scared to ask. So why are you scared of asking people? So it's because like we have that so much. It's not just humility. I mean, asking people it comes down to humility for me. And I guess that's one thing I want to learn. I want to share for today's fireside, John.
Fantastic, thank you. You talk about social media and stuff, and I mean, social media is a very, very powerful place to influence, right? And to be influenced, because there are actually influencers, right, on social media. And I mean, I've got a nephew who literally in the last 5 years has grown himself to 1.3 million followers on Instagram. He makes a post, he puts a video, whatever, he's at a store, whatever he's doing, he gets like 100,000 likes. And so he has built a brand, as Rachel talked about, but he's built influence through his brand, through the message that he has. And so anything he does, I mean, he could put a post about a product. You were just approached if he promoted a product, because of his influence, there'd be a good number of people that look at it at least and buy it. But we have to have patience. It doesn't happen overnight, right? But I mean, influence is incredibly powerful and valuable. I mean, you look at what these people, celebrities, have built a brand, and that brand comes along with influence. And they can make a mention of something, and they can, influence a lot of people to move, to look, to buy, to have interest in it. But at the same time, we've seen it, we've witnessed it. One bad decision, one bad comment, we hear, somebody jumps onto that, and all of a sudden it can be lost very quickly. So it's a very powerful, ties back into what I talk about. Everything we do, everything we say, our words matter. Everything we do matters, and it builds that credibility, it builds that influence, it builds that brand, and it builds that reputation. So with that, let's go ahead and see if anybody else wants to contribute or comment. Who wants to jump in? Come on, who's out there just thinking about, should I or shouldn't I share my thoughts?
Come on. John, I just want to say one thing.
I knew somebody. Okay, Robin.
I just want to say, when the way I started this painting thing, I found a rock at Walmart 5 years ago. Okay, I joined this group. They had 8,000 members to this group. I never painted before, so I did a scavenger hunt. I painted 26 rocks of the alphabet, capital A, lowercase a with an apple, and so on and so forth, all the way to Z. And then I went into town and I created a post, and I was making a post for my scavenger hunt. Every time I hid, like the P was at the bank, so everybody went and scavenger hunt for the bank. But nobody saw my post because the group was so big and I got buried and nobody's seen me. So that's what gave me the idea that I need to go build my own. Like, this rock group is for everybody. The kindness movement is for everybody. I mean, you can look on Facebook and there's all kinds of rock groups that you can join. Why not create your own rock group? So I created my own rock group 5 years ago, and I did it my style, still with the kindness movement, but I created my own influence with my own members so I can have the interaction that I wanted with the members of the group. So I decided that I started painting and hiding and mailing, and then I started creating painting challenges to get my members involved in what I was doing, by inspiring them, by showing them that I'm involved, that I'm consistent. It took me a whole year to make a year's worth of monthly painting challenges, but I have those all on my page. But it took time, you guys. It took time to build up to this, and it's okay to start out small and work your way up, but it takes time to build, and don't be afraid to start your own influence. So I just wanted to say that, because they have 15,000 members now on that group. I'm not as huge as they are, but again, I was not being seen. And if you feel like you're not being seen, then create your own window.
Yes, absolutely. Fantastic. Thank you. Anyone else want to jump in here? Talking about influence, but we can talk about whatever, if you have any other thing that you think might be related or.
John, I have it. I tried to get on my phone. It doesn't mean I don't want to speak. Yeah, this is Pal Sandera from Texas. Yeah, the influence, like you want people get to know you, just get involved in social media, just like Clubhouse app or Wisdom, the audio app. And that's how you build yourself up. And that's how you're gonna challenge yourself, have to practice yourself in the public speaking as well, because you might be speaking good in this group in ourselves here, but when you go out there in the real world, I bet you, that's the real courage is going to come out. That's how you get contact with the cold market, and that's how, because it's really difficult. We go out there, you're gonna challenge with a lot of the leader people. You have to be an eagle before you can catch another eagle. Yeah, because right now we have so many apps, so many social media that you can start yourself. And by participating in our organization, just say like Valentas, right? We have many groups, but to get people to recognize, I believe that everybody can post anything related to our business, just like motivation. I would love to see some people that have a motivation with like Jackie Boyle and all that. That's how you start out your influence, right? But for me, that's how I start out. And consistency, that's the key, because nothing beat consistency. Because if you slack of that, people gonna watch you, even your family, your friend, because they're gonna see the day that you give up, because that's the day they're gonna say, I told you, you're not gonna make it. Yep. Because you can challenge. That's how you start. People, you start out from zero, like myself. I start out from zero, and I just being consistency. No matter what, I have to jump in any Zoom meeting did I get a chance. If I cannot right now, I'm not I'm working and running, and I can plug in my ear and listening to you guys. When I get a chance, I hop in. That's how you start in become an influencer, and develop yourself and become the leader, and that people want to follow you. That's my take, John. Back to you, this Pal.
Yeah, Pal, thank you so much. Yeah, and again, the word consistency coming out, providing value and being consistent in it, having the patience, because it doesn't happen overnight, and don't be afraid to reinvent yourself. I mean, if you're out there posting and just getting no traction, really look, maybe even look to someone that you want to emulate, and repurpose their material, their message, if it resonates with you, to try to find your audience. So a lot of different things that we can do to build that influence, but it is incredibly powerful, and it's incredibly important. And I think for success, we have to do it, is building that influence. So anybody else want to jump in here?
Hey, John, here. Oh, go ahead.
Hi, John. I just wanted to say that I built my influence belly to belly with owning a traditional retail store. And I honestly, my hat goes off to all of you who are doing it behind a computer, because that is way harder. Now that we sold our traditional business, it's a whole different ball game. So congratulations to everybody that's successful doing it behind their computer. Thanks.
Thank you for that. Go ahead, Siv.
Okay, just to touch on, like, if you're looking to develop any kind of influence, especially on social media, I would consider that a high tech platform. But if we're looking at, okay, what are the types of people we're bringing in? The keyword is people, right? If you want to influence people, you have to first of all influence yourself. Because I was the guy that was looking at everyone and thinking, okay, I like that. But the person that I like and I tried to emulate was way off of left field. They weren't even anything like me. I'm like, okay, if they're getting the engagement and everything, I want to be that person. But that wasn't even me. I didn't really even truly resonate with that. And so people who knew me know that's not me, right? So be authentic. The first person I needed to influence was myself. I had to work on my mindset. So I started reading books, listening to audios, and I shared the things that actually influenced me and inspired me. And then it has started to attract people that I was looking for, right? Because I'm looking for people that's looking for me. And so something that Greg mentioned is longevity is credibility. That's the key. Whatever it is that you're looking to create long-term influence for, you got to consider some facts, right? Is where are you today? Or if you're working on mindset, how long are you willing to work on mindset? It should be a lifelong journey. If you're looking at physique, where you're today and how long are you willing to work on physique? It should be a lifelong journey. If it's spiritual, same thing. So start from where you're at and just show up every day to show people how you started, how you improved. Like let the story inspire the people that you're looking for. And the magic happens automatically after several months, after several years. You're going to start to attract the people that's looking for you. And then that conversation can lead into, hey, how can I live a better life? What is it that you're doing? Is there something that you can recommend that I can instill in my daily life that can increase my mental, my physical, and my spirituality? And so back to you, John.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Siv. That whole thing about what you're talking about, influence your, with yourself, right? But not trying to be somebody you're not. And, books, you mentioned books. I mean, books influence you, videos influence you, social media influences you, TV influences you, news influences you. So I think that the influence that others have on us as, is incredibly, because it probably alters our decisions. It alters our beliefs and our actions. So the influence that others and things around us, all have influence on us. And so, but is it a positive influence or is it a negative influence? I mean, we hear about, if you allow the news and the heaviness of some of the things that are going on in the world, I mean, that can really affect, you brought up the word mindset. It can really affect your mindset. It can really, influence you. It can have a negative influence in you, that you think the whole world's going to hell or something. I don't know. But all that kind of stuff, it matters. It matters. It has influence, and it affects the decisions we make. And we can head down a bad path if we're being influenced by the wrong people, the wrong, venue, the wrong information. It can have a dramatic impact on our life. So make sure that the people, the things, the social media, the news, the books you read, the TV you watch, everything has an influence on us. But is it a positive influence or is it a negative influence? So anyone else want to comment on that? If I mean, every time I listen to, you guys, it sparks something new in me, right? And I think about something a little bit differently. So anybody else want to jump in here?
I do, John. This is Kathy. I would like to just remind everybody about something you had given to us a while back now. You gave us a challenge. It wasn't in this group, but I think it was in with Kathy Gregory and that whole group there.
Oh, okay.
But you encouraged us to listen to Napoleon Hill, The Law of Success Revisited. And I am reminded about that again today as I sit and listen to everyone sharing and talking. That is just a really positive, wonderful book. I would encourage everybody to go to YouTube and pull it up. It's a great thing to do when you're not out there doing money-making activity. So that's what I have to say today, John.
Yeah, thank you for that, Kathy. And I, I think one of the chapters in there, and I have it on audiobook, right, that I've listened to repeatedly was it's the influence, and essentially what it is around influence, right? And it talks about I think the title of the chapter is called A Pleasing Personality, right? And the things that people don't like and the things that people do like, the things that people, that draw them in and to make that make, trust you versus, people interrupting or talking too much, or, I mean, it makes me want to go back and listen to the chapter, because as I listen to that chapter, and repeat the title of the book, because guys, I did recommend this, and I was listening to it, I think at the time that we did that Zoom. And so that information had influence over me, and I shared it with you guys, and you went and took that to heart. You went and purchased that, and you reviewed it. Do you remember the chapter I'm talking about?
I do. It was really good.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite chapters in the book.
Yeah. The name of the book is Napoleon Hill, The Law of Success Revisited. Write it down, you guys. You're going to want it, because it is a life-changing, altering type of, it just messes with your bad mindset. It kind of adjusts it, and it launches you really into what can be. And that's really what we're all about in this group here right now on our Friday time. We want to encourage one another to go further than we've ever gone before, and not to just sit there and just mull over the same old, but to literally become someone who can change their world and the people that you touch every day. And I love what Amy always tells us: don't get stuck with one person. Don't get stuck there. Just keep moving forward. Keep going on to the next thing. But I also want to share one other exciting thing that Patty Zoshek said to me too one time. Don't forget, Kathy, when you find out who you are in this company, you will be unstoppable. Because it's not about who everyone else is around me. I'll learn from everyone. And there'll be things that will all pull together, that we all have, like, for instance, how we put an order in, how we send out something from Share Valentis. Those are all things that we can, that are definite things that we all have to do. But then there's my personality. How will my personality speak to somebody? And who will they be that I get to influence and love on? And, Amy has given us a little bit of a challenge here recently about getting on and putting something on Facebook on our the reels, or something like that. Do something like that every day, just to get your face out there, just to let people know, who are you? I'm not Mrs. Salesperson. I love people. I love my family. And so that's what I'm putting out there. And as I begin to walk them forward, I'm also sticking in little things about coffee, and, trying to get that conversation will get started pretty soon. And I'm going to start a small group where I have started it, where I've invited people in to come and say hi and listen to different people talk. And it's nothing to do with our products. I'm taking your lead, y'all, when you did that with, with our health talks. I'm going to bring health talks in there. I'm going to kind of bring a bunch of different stuff in, where it's just a safe ground. It's a safe zone where it's piquing curiosity. What is Kathy up to? So that's kind of some of the things I've been working on, and hope. And again, the book that you shared it did cause me to think about myself and how will I make those little adjustments. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I want to come back to that book again, because it really is. If you want to have influence over others, and the chapter I listened to multiple times. It's been a while now since I've listened to it, and us talking about it, I'm going to go back and listen to it again. But it talked about the characteristics of a pleasing personality. It talked about the things that repel people, right? And one of the things that they talked about in there, as you're talking, is giving opinions when they're not asked for, right? people don't like that. You know, of volunteering opinions, you know, unless an opinion is asked for, what do you think about this? You know, then it's welcome. But when you're giving opinions, when they're not asked for, in this description of the book, they said people don't like that, right? But there's so, I mean, as I'm listening to this and I'm hearing, and I you know, I see some things I'm doing right, I see some things I'm doing wrong, but the thing is, you can, when you're conscious about it, and if it resonates with you and makes sense to you, you can, you know, in being conscious about it, you can make those little adjustments that can, you know, attract people to you versus push people away. So thank you. Anybody else last minute here? Otherwise, we'll close out for today's Fireside Chat. Okay. Sounds great, guys. This was also turned into be a nice discussion, and so appreciate you all very much. We'll talk to you again next Friday. I'll come up with a great topic of discussion. I'll be back home. I'm traveling right now, so a little bit out of my element, but we had a nice Fireside Chat anyway. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you all again soon.